All right, we are live, and we're going to take just a second to share out to the different platforms. Usually, there's a splash screen here, but Kofi's not here again tonight, so I'm doing it this way. I'm going to learn that at one point. So, give me just one
Got
second
it.
to hit a couple share buttons, and then we're going to get right to this interview.
We got it.
I'm excited, man. How
I'm
you
very
doing
pumped.
tonight? How you doing anyway? Just like generally.
Hey, there we go. I'm good, man. I'm very good. I'm tired, but I'm always tired, so that ain't nothing new. But we good, man.
You
It's
know, I hear that from a
nice.
lot of cosplayers. I feel like.
Oh, I've been on it. I've been on it. I'm tired, but I'm going. I got this bag of chocolate covered peanuts. Keep me going.
Yep. That's
I'm
good.
good to
I'm going to
go.
hit here a couple more times here, and then we will be good to go. This is the behind the scenes for everybody that doesn't typically know
Mm, mm,
how
mm,
that
mm.
goes. And all right, I guess we're going to have to edit this out. I say that, and we're not going to edit this out. You're watching this on YouTube, and you're
Just
seeing
keep it
this
raw.
happen. Yeah, let's go.
Just
We'll just
keep it
do it.
raw. We
All
good.
right, cool. I think it's shared out to all the usual suspects, if you will. I'm on a new setup tonight because we are also having the snowpocalypse. Um, so yeah, I'm excited to talk to you though.
Yeah, man. I'm super pumped. I've been waiting for it. It's been on my calendar.
Okay, and I got my questions ready. I don't have a Kofi with me, but yeah, let's go ahead and start. So, hey, hi everybody. Welcome to Lowering the Bar with Wulfgar. That's me, James Wulfgar, and tonight I have a person I've not met before, but he does amazing work, and I'm very excited
Mhm.
to talk through and find out how and why he builds this. And you're getting to know him just as much as I am tonight. So, with that in mind, let me let you introduce yourself, man. Go ahead and tell us where you can find it, where you can find you, like just everything about you. Go ahead.
What's going on, everybody? I am TrisRex. You could find me as TrisRex Cosplay mostly on the social media, but on Instagram it's just TrisRex from Chicago, from the South Side. Started cosplaying in 2018 just as a form of therapy. Uh, Work, stress, anxiety, the depression, everything just on me, and I needed that creative outlet to really be able to express myself, you know.
Yeah.
And one of the things I always been into is the comics, sci-fi, science fiction. I'm a Stan Winston kid. I grew up on all those 80 Marshes movies, 70s, action figures, all that, and just trying to a culmination of all the things that I was feeling at the time and into, and really put it into a craft. So I started with Killmonger from Black Panther in 2018 just to see if I could do it. You know, it was
Yeah.
like one of those things like, all right, I watched a couple of YouTube videos and I'm good at replicating stuff. Let's see what I got. And ever since then, I've just heads down trying to learn as much as I can learn. Just pushing myself with each character and failing fast and just like picking it up, picking it up, picking it up, picking it up. And now we here, 2021, and I think I'm doing all right. I'm all right, right?
I think you're doing all right too, man. You're doing more than all right.
I think I'm doing all right.
You're rolling it really pretty well there, man. Um, I got to
New
figure out
kid
where
on the
my
block.
stream just dropped. Wait, yeah. Um, yeah. Tell me about that. So 2018, that wasn't too long ago, and I don't really count 2020 like at all, really, because nobody was there
Yeah.
for 2020. I think we went to like two conventions in 2020. Um, so 2 years. If people can look back behind you, and if you go and follow this guy's, I posted
Yeah.
on the link. If you follow him on Facebook, holy shit, you are doing some amazing work for only starting this 2 years ago. And you said you
Yeah.
Killmonger was your first one, and then it
Hmm.
looks like it's just exploded from there, right? Like, so you got your
Yep.
Batman. What's the Batman called behind you? What do you call that one?
That's the Hellbat.
Hellbat.
The Hellbat. Yeah, that's one of the. It's one of those prestigious bat suits that everybody just loves, and I was just kind of like fed up. I'm like, wait, nobody's gonna attempt to cosplay this lovely suit, and I see why people don't attempt because it was a headache. But there you go.
I like that you call it a headache. Yeah, it was a headache, but I made the entire body armor and everything else. It was a headache. I want those kind of headaches, man. That is it's an awesome suit, and you do like head to toe, like it looks like just you leave no detail unturned in almost every one of your costumes. I think I saw your your Swamp Thing, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I saw your Swamp Thing in person at C2E2 this year, right? Because you were were you in the costume contest this year or not? I guess well, it was C2E2 2020 then, right?
Yeah, it was the crown.
Yeah. And the crown, yeah. So we did have C2E2 this year, which was awesome. Everybody was complaining it was early in February, but then like it worked out. But yeah, I saw that in person. I gotta say, I was blown away. Like it was like literally seeing Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing might be a little tad bit bigger depending on the depiction, but otherwise, I mean, you're a big dude anyway. How tall do you stand in Swamp Thing?
I'm probably like 6'1" or 6'2" in Swamp Thing.
Okay,
but I got some adjustments that I'm gonna make. I'm gonna get them to that 6'5", 6'7" level.
Yeah, but I mean, so you're gonna put stilts in them then, or platforms?
Just platforms.
Okay.
Just platforms. I got some cool updates I'm gonna make to them. But yeah, thank you, man. Swamp Thing, that was a huge turning point for me. That's when I really proved to myself that I can really do this. Like I could really go for that big screen cinematic look in my first creature too. Like full-in creature. And that was pretty ambitious for my first creature, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Because it's just certain things. I was talking with one of my friends about it. It's just certain things you can't fake. You know what I'm saying? Like a bat suit, okay. There's some art. You could get funky with it in certain areas, right?
Yeah.
But we've all seen plants. We've all seen trees. Like you just ate a salad probably last week. You know how the striations of a leaf look. So it's just one of those things where it was hard because you can't fake it. And that was probably one of the most tedious and laborious processes as far as like poking all of the foliage in there just right.
So take me through that. Like, was that foam? What was it made of? How did you make it?
Yeah, so that was made out of floor mats and craft foam. This was before I got into foam clay, which is what I mainly use now to go along with the craft foam. But that was pretty much like 10mm floor mats from Home Depot with craft foam for some of the striations and textures that you see as far as like how it fades in from the bark and stuff.
Yeah.
Some of the vines I actually use reptile decor. I got a lot of reptiles too, so I was in Petco thinking like, man, you know what? They already got some of this stuff pre-made. All I gotta do is paint it and weather it up. So I used a lot of that where you see like a vein going through the bicep, like where it would be on a human vein. I made it a vine on him. So
yeah, like that's really cool. So you just bought, and when I say just, that's not downplaying it. So you went to the pet store and actually used the vines that you'd use for your reptiles, added those to your costume. Are those plastic or what is that anyway?
You know what? I'm not necessarily sure what the material is. It feels like a vine. It's kind of, it breaks easily though. It breaks easily.
So it's not rubbery. It's brittle. No. You're saying?
It's kind of brittle. It's kind of brittle with a wire going through it. So I'm not sure. I know it's not plastic because I use the plastic foliage leaves.
Yeah.
From Michael's and Petco as well. But as far as those vines go, that was I'm not sure what that was, but it was cool stuff.
That is very cool. It's definitely thinking outside the box. And I mean, it's exactly what I say a lot of times. Like you don't have to build every single thing. A lot of times they actually have that stuff. Lisa's saying it's wax. That's what let me show this. Yeah, she's saying it's wax. Probably which makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'll have to check that out next time I'm in a pet store. And I do love
Yeah.
going to places like pet stores and other random places and finding stuff that just fits really well for costumes or props and things like that.
Mhm.
So yeah, man. Okay, because I got tons of questions for you myself, and anybody I want to address people. Now we have a few people watching. If anybody has any questions, please pop them down below. We'd be happy to address them. Any comments we're happy to have. But yeah, so he's Chris. As I asked for questions, Chris English is popping up, and he's saying, "Do you commission?" Which is a good question.
Yeah. At the moment, not right now.
Okay.
It's certain commission requests that I do get that would be interesting, but right now I need to focus on the portfolio. But it just depends on the project, so it's not
For
like
sure.
something that I'm saying like totally no to. It just depends, case by case scenario, right?
Yeah, and that's I
Um,
mean, usually everybody I know that does commissions, and myself included, I mean, they start with themselves, then they start with friends, then they start with people who have a project that they really want to do, right? So, I mean, and also I will say it's not for everybody, but I recommend trying it, right? If you haven't done any commissions and you're excited about something somebody asks you to do, then go for it, man. But that's, I
oh
mean,
yeah,
you got the skills and abilities to do it for sure. So
oh
speaking of
yeah.
skills and abilities, I'm gonna knock out some of the our typical questions that I love to know from everybody. All right, so when you're
Mhm.
building, what is your favorite tool and favorite material?
My favorite material right now is foam clay. Foam clay is
Okay.
crack. That's like cracking a bucket.
Yeah,
Anything
man.
you could ever imagine, anything you ever wanted in life, you can make out of foam clay. You can make it out of foam clay. Trust me. My favorite tool has been the wood burning tool. Wood burning
Wood
tool
burning.
has been my baby.
Okay.
I got a couple of them. I can't. I usually incorporated with a lot of my details as far as like
Hmm.
some of the facial recognitions, a lot of the battle scarring, and anything I really need to. I'm get really um I get really focused on the details. You know, I'm a super detailed person. In real life too. I'm
In
always in
real
the
life too.
details, right?
I was exactly what I was going to ask. Like, are you a
Yeah.
perfectionist type of detail person all the time,
Oh
or
yeah.
just in this?
Oh
Okay.
yeah, and well, professionally, I am a project manager,
Okay.
so knowing all the details and how
Yeah.
everything work together and data sheets and all the yeah, I'm that type of person. So when it comes to details, I spare no expense, I guess you could say, or leave no wheel unturned. One of those makes sense. Details matter. That's all you got to know.
Yeah, no, that's cool that you're a project manager, and then I mean, I'm sure like these are every costume is a project in itself.
Oh yes.
Do you? So I get asked then. Next question is like, do you how when you're making something, do you come up with a spreadsheet and you're like, hey, I gotta do this first, I gotta do this next, or is it kind of just whatever you feel like doing? How do you approach your whole big build?
Yeah. So actually, I approach you about a roster. About a roster. I'm usually about a month or excuse me, about a year or a year and a half into the future at all times, thinking about like what materials or what skills I need to learn. But I pretty much treat it just like I treat my projects at work. I have a full like Google sheet with like each character, and I try to do quarterly projects now. I used to try to do them just sporadically whenever I felt like it, but that doesn't work for me. I gotta always be working, like always making,
Gotta have
always be
that
making.
deadline
That's what I'm
too,
saying.
right? Gotta have that deadline.
Gotta have that deadline, regardless of the kind.
Hmm.
I got my own deadlines as far as what I need to make.
That's
So
cool.
a quarterly character, maybe a little something in between that or something small, and then cap it off for the year, and then so on and so forth. So for each of them, like say for example with Hellbat, I probably had a Google sheet with about a 200 lines of details as far as tasks, completion date, when they need to be completed by, sourcing materials, a Google Photos album to go with it, as far as like reference materials,
Yeah,
videos, all
yeah.
that other stuff. So it's full on projects. And then you got Excel slideshows to go with it too, just in case.
That's awesome. I know a lot of people make costumes. Very few of them go that far into it, right? As far as the project management of it. So, but it makes sense since that's what you are, and that's awesome because I know every once in a while I'll get stuck and be like, wait, where is that reference photo? A lot of times I have it on my phone or something like that, but it's good to have all that in one place. And we do that for our like commission work. We do that kind of thing. We use Google Docs and spreadsheets and track that, but not normally for just like a costume, even though your costumes are really detailed. We got a couple comments here. I'm manning all this myself. So, I mean, the next one up is Tyler's asking, yeah, what dream armor do you want to make? And this might lead into I think another question here, which is what you're making next. What's your dream armor, first of all?
Does it have to be armor or does it have to be just a project?
I mean, he said dream armor.
Dream armor.
I mean, dream project works too. I don't want to put you on the spot.
Dream armor. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, and this is it's kind of like a fun fact, right?
Sure.
There's this Batman version called Batman the Merciless, which is like a Wonder Woman-ish Batman type of background, and it's very blue.
Okay.
I will have to show you a picture of it, but I would say that was one of the ones that was competing for the Hellbat slot. I really like that build, but even if I told you it's gonna look different because I build them all in my interpretation, but my dream like project, the Queen Alien. The Queen Alien.
The Alien Queen, yeah.
So I would, man, the Queen Alien
puppeted by you below it or something, or are you gonna, or with like a lower scale?
Full scale.
Okay,
if you're gonna do it. I don't care if it's 14 feet. Get a garage.
You need people to do it. That's the way to do it. Yeah.
No, you need coffee. You need coffee, and you need music, and you need a plan, and then you can do it. People help too. My wife is a huge help.
Oh yeah. People. I meant people to puppet it at the end, right? Like if you have a full size queen, you're looking at. I mean, I think that the actual one they had in the movie had a few people in it too, but yeah, like I'd love to see that, man. And I mean, there's no doubt in my mind you could do it, especially with coffee and a plan and maybe some people. You just need a place big enough to make it, right? I love that. That's like what you're just like. We just need coffee and a plan. We're good.
Just give me the space.
Give
me the space.
I'm gonna literally just have you down to our shop and just have like a shit ton of coffee and a big ass open garage and be like, all right, man, let's go.
Let's have at it.
Let's go for a weekend, entire weekend build. Let's go. Which we bring people down. And we're not going to build the queen in a weekend by any means, but something fun. It'd be cool to have you down.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, so there's other questions here, but I gotta throw in one of my own. So you said favorite material and tool. So what's a tool that you'd like to learn how to use that you don't know how yet? We all have them. I have tons.
You know what? I'm trying to get into. I was looking online at this whole hair punching, as far as how to make it with the perfect hook. That's what I'm trying to look up right now for my next project. Is trying to get like real fine hairs into one single pore of the skin. So it's not like you laying hair down, but it's just like actually punched in, like it's fully going into the epidermis.
Yeah, so no, that's really cool. I know a lot of people who've like hand, I guess, sewn in or punched in, like you were just saying, like entire Chewbacca costumes, and it seems ridiculous, right? But I mean, you got to do what you got to do, right? You get enough coffee and time and planning, you can make that shit work. Yeah. And also, I mean, to me, if I'm doing something like that, then I get to listen to podcasts or music, stuff like that. Yeah. So next question, I guess. There's other people ask questions, but I'm going to hog this spotlight for a second. What kind of stuff do you like to listen to while you're building?
Yeah, it depends on the character. It's different. Depends
on the character. So it's character related then.
Oh, it's very character related because at the end of the day, I'm a cosplayer, special effects artist, whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, I'm a storyteller. and whatever headspace I need to be in for that specific character, that's gonna be the content that I'm watching. That's gonna be the music, and I guess a lot of just using my past couple of projects.
Mm-hmm.
When I first started off with Hellbat, I was very into a lot of alternative heavy metal. I was listening to a lot of Disturbed. I was listening to some Corn. I even changed my workout the way I was thinking
Oh,
because
that's cool.
the whole thing was by any means, And if anybody out there know the story of the Hellbat suit, it was pretty much Batman going to Apocalypse to save his son, and he had to wear a suit that could possibly kill him just to fight the creatures and to go up against the dark side. So think about it this way: this summer, with COVID, with all of the riots, all this other stuff, a lot of us had to ask ourselves, how far are we willing to go to save and do for the ones we love? And for me, it's by any means. So that type of hardcore mentality made me listen to a lot of that music, like Public Enemy, Freddie Gibbs. I love Freddie Gibbs, but also at the same time, I like to listen to a lot of jazz when I do it too, especially when it comes to the details. Huge Coltrane, Miles Davis. Rest in peace, Chick Corea. He just passed. He's a jazz pianist, if you guys know. And I like to listen to movie scores too. Movie score, cool. Good, real good.
So are you strictly music, or do you listen to podcasts or like movies? You watch movies in the background that you've seen a lot and that sort of thing, or everybody has something different.
Yeah. So when it comes to podcasts, Hannibal Buress got a very underrated podcast that I just slept on. It's called The Handsome Rambler. I think it's over with now, but him, Joe Rogan from time to time, depending on who he has on. But the one that I just discovered is Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson. Shout out to the hoodie.
I heard about that, actually. I haven't seen it. I haven't heard it yet.
I'm a Mike Tyson enthusiast, so that's just like heaven for me. I just love the way he thinks and how introspective he is, because he really helps you get out of your head, get out your own way.
That's interesting for sure. I'm gonna have to check that out. Like I have, you're the third person that's told me about it, and it just came out less than a year ago, something like that.
If that.
Okay, yeah,
it's super new. It's super new.
Okay, so yeah, I must have. Yeah, that's awesome. So let me get some of the other questions here that I'm being. Let's see. Yeah, so they're saying they ask you this every time they watch, but yeah, tell me what your younger cosplaying self. I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses on right now. But what would you tell your younger cosplaying self? That's what it is.
So I started when I was 28, 29.
Sure.
I would tell, plan to work to plan. Treat it just like you do your job. Plan to work to plan. A lot of the times I would have I would try to force things, and sometimes it wouldn't always work, or sometimes just my whole order of operation was just off because I didn't do enough research.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing, and most importantly, just have fun. I'm a very perfectionist type of person. I'm very gung-ho about things, and sometimes I need to take a step back, like, hey dude, why did you start this? To relieve stress.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're a grown-ass man making a Batman suit. Yeah. Calm down. It's not that deep. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. I mean, it's deep, but it's not super duper important, right? Like you can get it next time. You can get to the next convention on it or something. But don't get me wrong. I feel you on the fact that you do have to put effort in, right? Or you have fun, but put effort in. And yeah, that's actually a really, really good, or good and different take than a lot of people I feel like have, because a lot of people are more of the whole don't treat it like a job, right? Like it's a hobby, but I like that you approach it as a job, and it shows in your work, right? Everything's completely detailed, and you're bringing out finished products, and it's cool that you do it quarterly too.
Yeah,
well, that's really good past advice, or good past advice for your past self.
Yeah, I mean, if I went back and with this same approach, if I went back and did some of my earlier ones like Deathstroke or like Black Manta, I mean, it would be on this level, but even higher. Mainly because I'm just a different beast. Just a different beast.
And you learn from every build too. That's the other thing.
Yes.
I mean, I guess my advice to myself, sometimes to answer the same questions, would just be like, just make it. Just do it and learn from it and then do it again. Right? Rebuild stuff, and like you're gonna learn so much more when you just try it and go through it. And yeah, like always keep your eyes open too, like you were saying at the pet store, right? Especially if you've planned, and I think that's my favorite part about planning. And also that's the other reason I always tell people I want to know what you're working on too. Because if I happen to see something when like if the guys in my shop are all building something, or if random people I know are building something, if I know you're building Swamp Thing. I mean,
Thing.
They're awfully close, but yeah,
it is a character.
It is a character, just the wrong one, right? But if I know you're building Swamp Thing, I can be like, hey man, have you seen these things at the pet store? Like, or you know, if I'm keeping my eyes out, and so planning ahead is important for that kind of thing too. Or if I see a random how-to video, I can shoot it over to somebody and be like, hey man, did you see this? Because it's something like you're working on. So it's really good advice to plan ahead. All right, so Lisa coming in with the good questions. Well, not that the other ones are bad, but come on, what's next? What are you working on now? What can we expect to see from you?
First one up for Q1, and I'll be dropping this 326 is Man Bat from the Batman animated series.
Yeah,
I got it's gonna be really cool, and the theme of this one is gonna be evolution by mutation, and it's really going to touch on some of the fears that we have against vaccines and medical advice we get from the government, and it's also going to show how pressure could force people with good intentions to do really bad things. And I want to be able to tell this story, and this is in the same universe as my last four as 2020. So as this villain lineup is kicking off, he's pretty much the antagonist of the Trench. So they're both creatures. They were men at one time. They went through a lot of the same things. So they got a clash there. And Man Bat is going to be really cool because I'm doing this one for all of the people that came home after like school and work, sat on the floor to watch Batman the animated series. When you first saw
this guy right here, because he started in that cartoon, right? That's when Man Bat actually was created. Was he not?
It was before then. He was in.
Was he? Okay.
Before. But that's when he like really came to that's mainstream. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
You had to be like deep into comics to really know who he was before the animated series. But
man, I love the animated series. You're totally right.
He's gonna be the next level of TrisRex cosplay, and he's gonna be everything you would think of.
I'm thinking of a gigantic bat creature that you like pimp out this giant head and have giant ass wings, and you roll around and just scare the shit out of little kids. And it's just like, no, I mean, I'm picturing it.
It's gonna be
in my head.
It's gonna be very Tristan when you see it. It's gonna be you're gonna be able to really see my love for science fiction and practical effects.
Very cool. Very cool.
Without giving too much detail, I would love to be like, well, here it go.
No.
But, you I can't spoil it.
You debut that how you it's fine. But I will say this: I'm very excited to know that's coming next. I'm going to be looking for it because just everything you've done so far is just getting, you're just psyching yourself up. It seems like it just keeps getting better and better and better. And I got to ask, you got so many awesome costumes. You got Man Bat who could actually fight part of some of your costumes. You ever think about getting some of your friends to get in there at the same time and bringing out all your costumes at the same time, or some of them?
Oh yeah, I'm already ahead of you.
All right, cool.
I got a list of people I got a list of people that could step in for me.
Nice.
And
Yeah. C2E2, if it was like a whole group of your characters, all your costumes,
the whole line, all 8.
That would be so good.
Because by the time we get to C2E2,
yeah,
we'll have all 8. So we already got the 4, which is my version of the Justice League, like this Justice League Dark. I call it Justice League Resurgence. And this is all about the villains, all about the evil. We gotta make villains a thing again, you know. I want people to be scared. I want people to think twice about certain things. We gotta bring practical effects back. And that's what this year is dedicated to, the marriage between special effects and cosplay.
I love that it's also storytelling for you, right? Like special effects cosplay.
Oh yeah.
This whole you're like getting really into it. Like I feel you on being in the headspace of a character. Right, like when I was making gargoyle stuff, I was watching the Gargoyles and random whatever it is that I'm making. I want to watch X-Men if I'm watching X-Men stuff, but you're taking it to a whole different level. It seems like, right? You're storytelling, and you're making a set of costumes that go together. That is awesome. It's a unique way. I've seen some other people do stuff kind of like it, but not to that level. And the fact that you're actually saying, hey, I care a lot about the storytelling behind this thing, and this is going to represent this. And so, I would love to see like the breakdown too, for your breakdown, like on your website or wherever it is that you have that. I got to go check that out because of like what this costume is and what it's about, because it's just super interesting to me.
Yeah. Thank you, man. And they're basically like journal entries of what I was feeling, and everybody has a certain theme. Even the Wonder Woman had a certain theme. Arrival, the first female character / commission from my wife of TrisRex, and it was pretty much a love letter to all of like the super powerful women in my life, and to show that women could also be powerful. And we dropped it the same day as Wonder Woman 84. That's like my second favorite like DC character as well, so it was always there. But that was another powerful character, and just the messaging behind it. And Swamp Thing was about identity. Is he the man that's become the plant, or is he a plant that thinks he's a man? And the struggle of identity, and you could see where, like we was talking about the vines and where veins would be, and who Alec Hollick really think he is in this case, as far as like him being like really messed up in the head by the effects of the mutation. And King Trench, that's my boy, he's right above me looking at me, which is the Trench character, is he represents the fear of the unknown. He's pretty much, I made him during the time of George Floyd. I think one of the coolest parts about the Trench and the Mariana Trench is that there's creatures that just live so deep, and they've been able to really adapt to the harshest environment like on Earth that we know of, because we only studied about 5% of oceanic life, right? So when you got something that's like a perfect organism, it's unbreakable. And that fear and all of the underlying fears that was bubbled up during that time just coming to smack us in the face. And then all of a sudden, you see this big creature that's everything you thought about when you thought about Bigfoot, everything you thought of as far as the Loch Ness Monster, the fear of the unknown. You don't know what's out there. Well, he's here. All of the bullshit they told you about in the 1960s, it's here. All of that fear is here. It's all through him. You know what I'm saying? So to see that reflection of yourself in his eye, it's like, who should you be scared of, the monster or yourself?
That's super awesome. And I had to make a pun. That's really deep.
That's deep.
It is. It's super deep.
How deep is it? Going deep.
It's like trench deep. Like no. I like it. You guys, that dude. No, for real. That is. I don't mean to. I'm not making fun, because that's amazing. Like just the way of looking at your costumes. the way that they're going through there. I'm going to move on to the next question, but I'm sure we're going to come back to this because Chris is just commenting. Just finish your costume in the hotel on the night before because that is what Chris does. He's like, we talked to him last time.
Told me.
And legitimately, this is like night and day, right? Like you're like, I plan one out once a quarter and I'm a project manager and I have all this stuff. And Chris is like, I'm just like literally the next night. Yeah. The next day I'm the wear this.
Man.
I don't know. I'm with you.
Me and Chris talked before. Papa Bear, that's my boy. And like I was getting anxious when he was just telling me, I'm like, oh hell no. Like this is not gonna work. This is not gonna work.
I've done that.
But myself. He knocks it out.
I probably am an influence on him because he's seen me doing that for a while. That's how a lot of people are, man. Like honestly, I love that you planned it out. And there's definitely people who plan it out like you do too. But yeah, Chris and I mean, I've been in hotel rooms building costumes before. I don't like to do it. I'd rather hang out with the people. If I'm already there, I want to see people, right? But yeah, it is like night and day if you got this thing 4 months in advance on this.
That's what's up though. Y'all
what's
hardcore.
Up, man? Yeah. There's
what up?
Yeah, we got a couple people saying hi. Let's see, going down to I'm catching up on these. Sorry about that.
It's all good.
Yeah, and I do like this cool coffee, music, and a plan. I'm very serious.
Need,
all you need. That's all you need.
That's all you need, baby.
For sure. Let's see if there's any other questions here. Going down through it. Yeah. All right. This is a good one. So how do you think COVID-19 will affect cons going forward? Let's talk on COVID.
Yeah, that's the unknown. That's another unknown.
Yeah.
I think I will say people are going to be much more willing to go to cons once we get this vaccine situation straight.
For sure.
I would say at least after by like end of Q3, maybe Q4, like around that Wizard World, C2E2. I feel like we got a really good chance of those actually happening because we got a whole bunch of waves, and then there's other vaccines that'll be on the market as well. Like I just passed the field house by my in the park, and then people were just lined up down the block to get the vaccine. So
that's awesome.
That's gonna be the answer. That's going to be the answer.
For sure, right? Like that's how we beat it 100 years ago, right? That's how you had to get through it, and people died for a couple of years, and then there was a vaccine, and then there was also some herd immunity that happened, and it's going to happen. Same thing is going to happen. And people are also getting more used to wearing masks, I think, and I think that because people are getting more used to wearing masks, that the rate of transfer is lower, right? And just in general, we know how to beat it. We just got to beat it. So yeah, going forward on cons, I'm in the same boat, right? Like I'm really expecting I'm hopeful for like, probably not summer, hopeful for like fall or C2E2. Like you're right there in the same where you're at.
The only one,
there'll probably be some that happen in the summer, and I'm probably going to I'll see what happens. Right.
Yeah,
like I also don't know what's going to happen, and everything changes so fast, but yeah.
Yeah, but C2E2 for sure. That's the only one that I got like on the calendar. Like I'm gonna try to make it work.
And I'm still holding my breath on that one. I really am, because as much as I love C2E2, there's a lot of people in all one space.
Oh yes.
There's a lot to it, but we'll see.
And
we'll see how it goes.
It just gets bigger and bigger each year.
Yeah, let's talk about just favorite cons. That's one of my favorite questions. All right, man. So favorite convention that you've ever been to, and then one that you want to go to that you haven't.
Well, I haven't been to too many other than Wizard World. I think I went to Wakanda Con like the first year it came out, but cool. C2E2 is that's the Super Bowl for me right there.
Yeah, I know.
That's where, if you're a cosplayer, that's where it goes down. I've seen some cool stuff over the years, and I'm glad to be a part of that. But the one I really want, I gotta go to San Diego. I got to. Yeah. I get a U-Haul. I just pack them up real good.
You're driving it, huh? That's a long drive.
It would be hard to fly with them.
You gotta ship them. Yeah.
I can't trust people with my precious
Yeah,
kids.
I'm with
My
you.
precious babies, man.
We drive down to Dragon Con, and that's only like a 9-hour drive from here, 10-hour drive from here. So we drive there, but I've been to Emerald City and I had to ship my costumes there. And yeah, it changed what costumes I was wearing, right? I didn't wear crazy old, like, costumes I'm going to have to ship in a crate. But I still shipped a big box. But yeah, no, I want to drive out the Wasteland weekend as well at some point.
Where's
And that's in California as well. But that's
Okay.
one of those,
Okay.
I guess you don't have to drive, but if you're going to bring a bunch of Mad Max stuff and that sort of thing, maybe a Mad Max vehicle, you might as well drive. So I feel I want to drive across the nation to do it too, but that's a long way. So C2E2 is your favorite that you've been to, and then Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, the mecca of Comic-Cons.
Monsterpalooza. I
gotta go to
Monsterpalooza. Yeah.
Okay, where's that at? I don't know where that is.
That's in California.
Okay.
That's in LA. Yeah.
Cool.
They got two of them. They got Monsterpalooza and then they got Sun and Monsterpalooza. So I think they're both in LA. I know the main one's in LA. I'm not gonna butcher the area.
That actually is another good question that I just came up with. Before this, were you, you obviously were probably into costumes a little bit, but before you were into cosplay, were you a big Batman fan or like monster fan or monster movies, and along with that, like, did you go to conventions before you cosplayed and see these cosplayers or not?
Yeah, so I've always been into this type of culture. I mean, like, I was raised on like Aliens, Predator, Jurassic Park, Batman '89. So that was instilled in me as far as like the action figures, comic books and stuff. But I didn't really go to a con until 2017, and I wore I sourced all these little materials from like overseas, from China and all this other stuff to make a Kylo Ren suit.
Sure.
And it was pretty good, but after all of the alterations and stuff I had to make to it, because at the time I think I was still like heavily into powerlifting, so I think I was about like 260. So I was this huge Kylo Ren. And I was like, you know what? Never again. Like, all the money I spent all the money and time I spent on trying to like refine it and make things fit correctly, I could have just made my own. Sure. And then that next year, Killmonger. So it's like 2017 just opened my eyes, like, hey, this is fun. This is not like Halloween where everybody's asking, who are you? But
no, it's not.
Everybody's in on it. The cosplay community has just been very open arms, and it's been cool.
Yeah, for sure. So you mentioned you were a powerlifter before this, or you still are?
I still powerlift.
Yeah. So how long have you been doing that?
Since 2015. I haven't really competed yet, but I still do the practice of powerlifting.
Okay.
And I just got really serious about cycling in 2017 too. So powerlifter / cyclist, and it just keeps me, fit so I can wear these big suits, man.
Yeah, these big suits. It's hard, especially now. I feel like it's harder than ever in 2020 to do this. I guess we're past that, so we're good. But yeah, man, that's awesome, man. Powerlifter. I know you're a big dude, but I just didn't know you're powerlifting. I'll make sure to be expected to be lifted off my feet if I ever give you a hug. I'll tell you what, that's the most unnerving thing ever. When somebody lifts my ass up off the ground, I'm like, what is going on here? I'm not used to this.
I feel like a child.
Yeah. I'm like, put me down. Put me down now. Like, there's none of this. That happens at conventions too, right? Like, a lot, because people are all excited to see people. Yeah. So let me make sure we don't have any questions. Oh, Kale's busting out the question about the Dragon Con bus. Kale, I don't think we're ever going to do a Dragon Con bus again. We took a 44 people in a charter bus to Dragon Con one year, and it worked.
That sounds fun, though.
It was super fun in some
respects. That sounds like a party.
We called it a party bus. I was the one that organized it. I can say that it was not a party bus in the end. I fucked it up a bit, and we basically took like an overnight, and it got us there. Nobody had to drive. It was it was a bit shady during certain he says, thank goodness. Kale says, thank goodness. So it was a good idea. The execution was kind of poor because it was just such a long drive for the bus driver because he had to pick us up and wait. So by the time like we made it all the way down there, he'd been driving for a while, right? For like, and like, don't get me wrong, he was fine and we were fine, but there was a little bit of the whole like, hey, we need to like go less fast, bus driver guy, that sort of thing. But at the time, and I'm glad we did it, right? Because it was an experiment on like, hey, can we just take charter buses down to Dragon Con now? But then of course everybody had their convention stuff, right? And they said they had plenty of room under the bus, but it didn't have quite as much room for like all the costumes everybody thought. But it worked out and it was fun. But it was But that brings up another good point, dude. You got to go to Dragon Con. Like you got to look into it. People would fucking lose their mind over the stuff that you make down there. I mean, it is
Atlanta, right?
Yeah, it's Atlanta. It's Atlanta, and it's like I said, it's like 9 hours away from me, 10 hours away from me, and I'm probably 2 hours like south of you. So you're looking at not that far of a drive. And a lot of times we do meet people from Chicago, and at least carpool down, right? We don't probably take a charter bus anymore, but we could carpool down, or we'll all get like some U-Hauls and go down that way. So yeah, we should do that.
You know what? People been telling me about Dragon Con too, so I'm gonna check that one. I got a huge list. Like 2020 was like our year to travel. Mm-hmm. We had like 3 or 4 cons we were gonna go to, and boop.
It gets really addictive too, right? Like, and it gets to the point now. I was just telling my wife literally last night that, I mean, it seems like we've calmed down a lot from traveling, and that when that breaks back up, like I got to figure out, where I'm going to go and what conventions I want to go to. And there's definitely going to be lots that I still want to go to, but will it be the same? We'll see. We'll see. But Dragon Con is definitely on that list. We will be going there, and you should definitely check that out. I got you. Yeah. So let's see. Pope's yelling Dragon Con. Eddie's saying that I power lift cans of Coors Light too at Dragon Con specifically. Yes, thank you.
Dragon Con.
Oh,
my boy Scott. What up, wild card?
Yeah.
That's the homie right there.
Yeah, no, Scott knows what's up for sure. And he comes with this Dragon Con almost every year. So it's a good time. I got other questions here because anybody pop your questions. But and some of my questions were already there. Like, what are you building next? All right. So how do you keep yourself cool in your giant ass costumes? I gotta know. Or do you?
Oh yeah. Sometimes I don't. Like the one I had my fans ready for Swamp Thing, for C2E2. Getting ready for the crown, whole checklist. We got portfolios, we got everything. Got to the dang, I pulled up. I was like, you know what, baby? I forgot my damn fans. Because I had an opening in each one of the traps where it would just blow on each side, and I would have been straight. Ooh. Oh man. That was a pretty bad it wasn't bad, but it was a tough experience because I was literally behind stage. They were like fanning me off. Like, do you know Jedi Amanda?
Yeah.
Jedi Amanda, she like had her like katana blade.
Yeah,
my wife was like fanning me off in the background because I was literally like sweating bullets. Like, I'm gonna go up there and pass out.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm Swamp Thing though.
They give you water, right? Like you gotta drink a lot of water when you're into something like that.
Yeah. But one of the things is what I do now, and that's one of the things that started. I kind of treat it like I do workout as far as like making sure I got my Gatorades, electrolytes. I'm stretching before and after because when you moving in like 40 to 50 pound suits, it's like the extra movement and extra like energy it takes. It just zaps you. It zaps you. So it's just one of those things where I make sure like my intake the day before, keep that water going. And my wife, I mean, she pissed me off. Like, stop, you need to eat, you need to drink. I'm like, okay.
She's just trying to make sure you don't die, man. Like that's just trying to keep you alive, which is important.
But if I die in that Swamp Thing suit, I'm going down in history. I'm a legend.
See, here's the thing. You're a legend with or without dying, man. You just don't. We want to see Man Bat. All right. Listen, you can't die in Swamp Thing. I need to see Man Bat. All right.
You died in this Swamp Thing.
Yeah. Nobody needs to see that. Nobody wants that. Sam is actually he's here to
My boy
recommend a
Sam.
vest. Cooling vest. I've not ever used.
Yeah,
Actually, I've never used a cooling vest. I've used fans and other things, but I hear good things about it. You ever used a cooling vest?
I haven't. I heard
Yeah.
about him though. I
Yeah.
heard about.
And
I think Sam told me. I think you told me about that before.
Sam
But
is really good at being in like full body characters as well. If he's
oh yeah.
recommending those, then yeah, I'm sure that they're probably pretty good then.
Oh, I trust Sam. That's
Yeah.
Sam and I first met at the Crown, actually, getting dressed. Like, we already knew of each other's work before, and since then we've just been like homies, virtual homies. What's up, Sam?
That's cool. He's going to be on here in 2 weeks from now. We're going to have Sam on here, so you have to come ask awkward questions to him. So, or tell him the cooling vest is some bullshit, right? Be like, I tried it.
I tried it and the water was going down the crack of my ass. I don't like it.
Yes, exactly.
My ass was wet.
Try it out in the snow and it doesn't work nearly as well.
Yeah, I'll be straight in this weather though. I will be like really good.
Right. Yeah, we have Space Wolves that everybody wants to shoot in snow, and we thought we would be really smart and bring them out in the snow. They are not that fun. To be in, we were cold. We were super cold. I have a picture of me running in through the snow in Space Wolves. I have a video. It's not a very good one. It's like pretty far out, but I biff it. I'm like, there's like 5 of us running, and I just like face plant and into the snow. You just see my feet come up. I don't know. I gotta find that video, but it's you can't see it very well. You just have to know what you're looking for because we're far away. But yeah, we tried that, and we were extra cold. I feel like, although I mean, it looks like you have a lot on you. Yeah. So I got more questions. Let's see. What kind of collaborations have you done, and do you want to do?
So I haven't done any collaborations just yet, and I'm dying to do so. I'm just waiting on the right one.
They're fun for sure.
I'm just waiting on the right one because this is like I'm like set on this whole like mission to do this universe, and now like for 2022 I'm thinking about opening it up a little bit to do some of that stuff.
You should. It's definitely a different part, but I mean, obviously, rock your thing out, man. But try it if the opportunity presents itself, man. Collaborations are super fun. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I'm one of my homies. Probably gonna collaborate with him on some stuff. My boy Rashad, he's special effects. I wouldn't necessarily say cosplayer because he's like in the industry, but we talked about collaborating on some stuff too. So other than that, like I think Papa Bear mentioned Gargoyles. Like Gargoyles team up, that would be great.
I will bust Santos back out. I even got this. If you guys go Gargoyles, I will be your Xanatos. I will make that armor again. Yeah. Like I love that character. I fucking love that character. So
the Gargoyles was my shit. As a kid, I would love to do a Gargoyles group.
Yeah, with that beard, you could. I mean, I can't remember if I don't know the old guy. What's his name? The old gargoyle. He's the one with the sword, and I'm blanking it so hard right now. It's right. I'll think of it in a second.
I just know Goliath.
So there's Goliath. There's Goliath, and then there's like all of them are so good. There's so many good characters in that. But yes, that I think you should definitely anything with Pop Bear, you rock out. And he's a good one. And I don't know if he's still on here, but yeah. So collaborations in the future, but then you still got to figure this out, like how to get all of your costumes on the floor of C2E2 as well, right? Like that should be your first collaboration. It really just needs to be like recruiting and also, I mean, what's great about that is you can have anybody. It doesn't have to be an actual other cosplayer. Right, you can just pull people up, and then that'll bring them in and be like, "Oh shit, guys, this is super fun." Because I always tell people, "Don't not cosplay till you try it," because it is super fun.
That's true. Yeah, I would. I like I said, I got a couple of my boys that's willing to step in on some stuff, and it's something that I've been exploring before for other things that I can't disclose right now. We want to keep all drops nice and fresh, no spoilers. But yeah. C2 like for C2E2, If it happens this year, I'm gonna show out.
Cool.
You
I'm there for it for sure. I'm
you
excited.
gonna
I
get
always love
four.
knowing kind of what people are doing going to C2E2,
Yeah,
but yeah, that's good.
yeah. You gonna get a good four. I mean, three of the members of last year hasn't even been seen in real life before. So
Yeah.
I got them. I'm ready.
I was about to say, have you checked out the guy that's hanging above you, the shark? Have you seen has he been out in an actual con before?
Oh, you mean Hellbat?
No, no, the one you said was right above you, the from the deep. I
Oh,
can't.
the trench. The trench.
Trench, thank
Okay.
you.
No. He hasn't. He hasn't.
I was about to say I don't think I've seen the trench like many pictures of it. I was going to go look at that after this.
Yeah. He was right after I did the test for my wife. We tested this MK11 Jade stuff. I just wanted to make some stuff at the time. She's not really part of the universe.
Mhm.
But he was pretty much the follow-up to Swamp Thing. And
Yeah.
that was a very fun and hellacious build. My first time sculpting with foam clay too, so that was a learning curve.
Mhm. Yeah,
Serious learning
now
curve.
you're all about it. I love that you're all about
Love it.
foam. So when you're foam clay sculpting, let's go into that for a second. What kind of stuff do you use to sculpt it? Like what tools?
I used the same stuff, the same like sculpting tools that you would use with like a monster clay or Siobhan.
Okay.
It's just, I would say the difference is just the post. Like once everything dries and settles, it has a different consistency because it kind of puffs back up. So in some areas, depending on what you want to do, like for Hellbat, I had to do a lot of sanding. Like
Yeah.
sanding, remold it, sand some more, remold it, sand some more, add a little quick seal, just to
Mhm.
get that smooth surface. But it's just the post, it's the difference. Like I was watching some videos on the Stan Winston School of Character Arts,
Mhm.
as far as how they were building things out of monster clay and wet clay, and I'm just trying to replicate that. It's not necessarily apples to apples because the consistency is just
Sure.
like it's night and day. Like
Yeah,
it's
but
totally
the
different.
weight and the usability for costumes is also night and day. I mean, you're not going to put actual clay on your costume. Don't get me wrong, you can cast it and everything else like you would, but
Silicone.
that's
Yeah.
really cool that you're using a lot of foam clay. So
Yeah.
you
Foam
mentioned you
stuff.
watched some Stan Winston stuff. So are you in the school Stan Winston currently by any chance, or do you just watch some of their videos? Or I know a few
I'm in the
people who are
school
going
now.
through it. You what?
I'm in the school now. Yep, I'm in the
Nice.
school now. I'm taking a couple
That
courses.
is fantastic. Like I haven't done any of those yet, but I've seen the advertisements for them, and it looks like it's really cool stuff.
It's
That's
good
great to
stuff.
hear. Yeah,
It's good stuff. It really, and just trying to, even if I'm not using the same type of techniques or the same type of products, seeing the techniques and like knowing what they're trying to achieve is just helping me. Like when I was talking about the hair punching,
Mhm.
that's one of the courses that I'm signed up for that I'm probably gonna start this weekend.
Awesome.
Because I'll be done sculpting Man Bat probably Friday or Saturday. A lot of
So
clay.
yeah, that's a lot of clay. I was about to say, are you sculpting all of Man Bat out of foam clay? Is that what's happening?
Mostly, yeah.
Mostly.
I've been,
Okay.
I've been hoarding. I've been hoarding like foam clay since. Like I got my family knows me well. I got all cosplay materials for Christmas. Like
Nice. Nice.
That's all they got me. My wife, her father, my father-in-law sent me like buckets of foam clay. I'm like, you know what? Now you got it right. All this other shit, these socks, these shirts, I don't care about that. Let me make my monsters and leave me alone. Just give me some paint. But yeah, they came through. So I just been sitting here hoarding foam clay, and then Black Fridays, anytime they have a sale or something, you get a bucket or so. And I
Yeah.
like to keep a nice little stock. But yeah, most of I would say about like 80%. 80% is gonna be foam clay.
Yeah, dude. That is that's fantastic that your family gets you cosplay supplies and costume making supplies. What more are you gonna ask for, right? Like, you can make it yourself. You can make your own damn costumes however you want. All right. Well, I can't wait till C2E2. You're just making it. I mean, I want to go to C2A2 anyway, but there's that. So when did you, for people who are watching, and mainly this is a question for me, when did you say you were planning on debuting Man Bat? Because I got to like mark that on my calendar.
3/26. That was the original date of the C2E2 before it got pushed back. So I'm gonna give us something to look forward to. 3/26. We got a mystery to solve.
I am looking at that right now. You got a month and a week. You're gonna finish sculpting him this week, huh?
I got a lot of coffee.
Yeah, a lot of coffee.
I got
a plan. You're good. No, you're good. I love it.
Schedule.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like, obviously, no pressure. You can be a couple days late on that, but I really am super excited to see that. And then you're right. It does give people something to look forward to, right? And I like that you use the same date as C2E2, right? Like, you're just like, all right, fine, you cancel. I'm still making it.
Yeah.
I'm talking to a lot of people, and a lot of people are needing those deadlines. And I found that I probably need those deadlines for my own costumes because I have it on my commissions, but not on my own costumes. I keep putting things off. So yeah. So hitting it in project manager style, I like that. It's good.
It really puts you into perspective too, because once you see those deadlines and you get a clear cut vision of what you need to get done at what date, all bullshit gets out the way.
Yeah, no, I mean, it really does. That kills the procrastination because that's exactly what that is.
And it's just one of those things that makes it. If you write everything out, you get everything ahead of time. All you gotta do is take action. Well, I think just have fun. But at the same time, you gotta work. It's one of those hobbies and one of those things where it's very fun. But when you want to be great at something, you gotta do stuff that people just don't want to do. And you gotta love it, or it's gonna kick your ass. It's gonna kick your ass whether you love it or not. But if you don't love it, it's gonna kick your ass even harder.
Yeah, well, if you don't love it, it's gonna kick your ass, and you're gonna leave. You're gonna get your ass knocked out, and you're gonna be gone. So my wife and I cosplay together and build together too. Does your wife? You said she was a Wonder Woman, right? With you, does she ever come in the shop and help you build?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Well, she doesn't necessarily help me build, but she's pretty much my eyes and ears for like all fittings, movement tests. We pretty much got a 3-step process before we know if one of the suits is ready to go. So she's in charge of all that. She's kind of like the manager. She's like the manager of it all when it comes to that, because she makes sure range of motion is right. Anything that's off in certain photos, all attachments. By the time that second fitting is done, she knows the suit way better than me.
Well, that's good because she's also probably handling you too at the conventions, then, right?
Yes, she is.
Yeah, it takes a village or at least a team of a couple, right?
Oh, yeah.
It just does.
Oh yeah, and she keep my ass honest when it comes to those deadlines and stuff. Oh, she keeps me on it. I'm always on it myself, but sometimes I'm ambitious. So you need that steering. They're like, hey, come back. You know, let's knock some stuff out.
Yeah, if she's anything like my wife, which it sounds like she is on that, she's one of my biggest critics, right? I'll come up and be like, hey, I worked all day on this thing. How do you like it? She's like, it's off. I'm like,
she gets on my nerves about that shit.
It makes it better in the end. It totally makes it better in the end, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that hurts so much because I just worked on that and a lot of people were like, "Oh man, that looks great," right? But they're not. They're not being honest with me about that, which I like.
Nowadays, we got it down to a science where it's kind of like I know what she's gonna say or what she's gonna call out. And one of her biggest things, because we make things for cinematic and big type of productions. We make it with that same intent. So like, yeah, this looks good, but if we're gonna shoot it from this angle or on the big screen, you know, and I'm like, damn, now I gotta repaint this and blah blah blah. But it always works. Yeah, it always works. So it's like I could be mad at her, but she's part of the team. Like, what I'm gonna do?
It definitely
Yeah.
makes it better, especially if she is considering, and you're considering too. And when you're talking through it, those things like, yeah, how are you going to shoot this? How are you going to pose in it? How, like, what do you actually want end goal? It's good to work back from anything you're making that way, right? Like, what's the end goal of it?
Yeah, and now I'm making it with intent on those specific shots. So it's not just like making a suit and, oh, you could do it with this, you could do it with that. But now, like with Hellbat and Wonder Woman, I already know the specific shots and scenes when I'm drawing them on paper.
Mm-hmm.
I already kind of know what I want them to look like and have that vision.
Yeah, so it sounds like you have way more planning and like vision toward your things than a lot of people do. But what are some of the things you're always afraid of when you get into something? Maybe not afraid of, but like things you know not to do or you're not trying to do.
I'm not scared of nothing, and that's my problem. It's a gift and a curse.
That's good. Yeah.
I will try anything. I'm not scared. What the hell I got to be scared for making a costume? Nobody has a gun to my head. And even if you did gotta have a gun to my head,
yeah.
You still gotta pull the trigger. What you gonna do? Kill me?
I hope
being safe, that's cool. I mean, well, I'll tell you what, I did go to the hospital from plastic dip one time, but I didn't die, and the Black Manta turned out great.
That sounds like a hell of a story. Let's hear it.
Well, it was my first time using plastic dip. I was trying to seal them. I had everything sanded right, and I had the window open. Didn't really have a mask on. I didn't know, like, this was my first time getting into aerosols. You know, I didn't really know the protocol as far as how to really take care of it. Third costume. And I got to work the next day, and I was just like breathing really hard, which is odd for me because I take care of myself. I don't have trouble breathing, right? And I'm sitting there, I'm talking in my meeting, and I'm like, oh, I'm just like catching my breath, and my direct like came to me at the desk like, dude, are you okay? I'm like, no, it feels like something is growing in my chest. And I pretty much hotboxed some plastic dip, and I went to ER, and they flushed it all out of me, and you could see it was thick. I tasted it for about it was all I could taste or smell for about a good 48 hours. That stuff is no joke. And then I was looking it up online. It also causes certain brain diseases too. So now I got my mask on, I got goggles, I got gloves. I'm outside with a fan. I don't play with that stuff no more. So I don't have fear of it. I just respect it.
Right. Absolutely.
All them hospital bills, you want to spend money on that, or you want to spend money on materials?
Plus, I mean, yeah, you only get one set of lungs, right? Yeah. Whew. Yeah. That is a lesson worth learning for everybody watching, not just you. Right? Yeah, for real. Because I mean, they always say, where you use things in ventilated spaces, but nobody ever thinks it's going to happen to them, or they, don't know exactly what's up.
No, man, that stuff is strong.
Yeah. Oh, dude,
strong.
It smells awful, and we don't actually use it ever in our paint booth indoors. We just spray it only outdoors. And yes, mask.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It works perfectly. And you know what? You got to be careful with some of the varnish. Kramer makes this really good varnish that I always use, but it's strong too. You got to go outside because it'll choke you up, man. It will choke you up.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I got a couple more questions, and I do want to let you go because I know that I don't know how long you have, and we're a little bit.
I'm good, man.
Cool. So I'm having a blast talking to you.
Yeah, this is our first time meeting, and we same cloth, man. Same
right,
cloth.
absolutely. All right, man. So tell me about some of the. I guess when you're building a costume, some people care a lot about what it looks like on the inside. Some people don't give a shit about what it looks like on the inside. I'm one of the people who don't really care what it looks like on the inside. If it looks cool on the outside, that's fine. But I guess, what's the inside of your costume look like, and does it matter to you? It
doesn't really matter. Long as it's solidified and stable.
Oh, sure.
I mean, You're gonna see in the inside of mine, you're gonna see like all of the layering I've done, but you're not gonna see like some padded velvet. Who's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
like the inside of a jacket? No,
Okay.
no. Out of all of like if I gotta spend time on something, it's definitely not gonna be the inside.
I'm with you.
unless it's visible, like
Yeah,
you can see it, and then okay, we paint it, code it, do whatever we need. But like all of like the hem back there, you can see all of the foam mats and all that stuff.
sure. Yeah, at least with foam, it's pretty comfortable too. And that's one of my favorite things about foam is the fact that it literally is like waterproof and comfortable.
Yeah, because I sweat my butt off in it, and as soon as I let it air out, it's dry. About like an hour or so.
Yeah. So that's another good question. Like, so how do you clean your costumes? Because
So I Febreze it.
Mhm.
I do a lot of Febreze. I get disinfectant wipes. So like the Clorox cleanup
yeah,
disinfectant wipes. You do
we're
that.
familiar with those now. Actually, like, everybody's
I'm,
familiar.
I'm, if you don't know, now you know.
Yeah.
For the outside of it, I dust them off a lot. Sometimes you get the matter of fact condensed air for
Mhm.
dirt particles in those hard to reach areas, and I also use the little makeup sponges that I was actually I use a lot of them to do Wonder Woman's makeup in some of the dirt, but
Mhm.
in some of those areas I just get it. I try to be easy with the paint. I try to be easy with the painted areas, although varnish and all the other stuff when it comes to like bleach, alcohol, it could take it right off. So
Yeah,
it
yeah,
just depends on what you want to do. And palm olive, don't palm olive and Dawn, they'll mess up some paint too. So you got to be easy.
yeah.
But I
That's
keep it clean. They show pieces at the same time.
yeah. I
You
was
know.
actually going to ask that too. Like, I keep most of my costumes in totes, random places. So I got to make sure that I put like dryer sheets and random things in there too. Looks like you have you have to dust them, but you have all yours on display or most of them on display. Is that how that goes?
Yeah. The main four from 2020 is on display. Everybody that's in this case not canon is in storage. In
Okay.
storage. Yeah.
Yeah, storage starts getting to be a problem there for a while. After a while,
After that third one, it's just not enough room.
for
Just
sure.
not enough room, man. It'll never be enough room for me because I just love doing it.
All right, so I'm trying out a couple new questions. Quade's one of the guys that works with me, and he wrote down a few questions.
Wait,
Uh,
what's going on? If you're watching.
yeah, he might be watching. He always keeps forgetting it's Monday because when he's at home. Um, yeah. So, what's one of your favorite, or a couple? It doesn't have to be your main favorite, but tell me about some of the little tips and tricks that you use while you're building. Like, is it like some random weird way of using the tool that somebody else doesn't usually do, or what are some of the things you're just like you go to your go to like, hey, I'm going to do this thing this
Like
way.
a
You always use
mm,
tape on the back to put them together or something. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about with a tip and trick. I'll let you talk. I'll let you think.
let me think. Cause I'm usually straightforward. I tell you what, I gotta you know what? Most of my tricks is really like on the paint side, because that's where I really have a lot of fun.
Hmm.
One of my tricks is the blending and fading when it comes to dry brushing. I really get a kick out of that because when it comes to painting the creatures, it's not necessarily just dead on. Like
Oh
maybe
yeah.
that base layer be dead on, but I have a lot of tricks when it comes to dry brushing and how to like really blend like 5 or 6 colors to make it look like one flesh tone or one scale. So it's just I could show it better than I could you know explain it in this
Sure.
case, but just like for the trench, if you ever notice with the trench and his gills, you'll see that it's a combination of red, blue, and green. And that was just like a homage to my iguanas because they inspired the spikes and like a lot of the reptilian features that he does have. But the way that they blended with the little white lines in there and stuff is I pretty much did it kind of like a how what's those the ice cream that come with the strawberry, chocolate, and the vanilla.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
What's that called again?
Uh, I don't know what the name of it is.
If y'all know what that is, because that's $1 million question, I feel.
Yeah,
And I don't want to get fucked out some money because I can't remember how damn ice cream assortment. But basically, I do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So, say for example, you have your 3 colors, right? So, Neapolitan. Thank you, baby.
There you go.
That's Mama Rex too. So you have your 3. And then you go over it with your base color. In this case, I made a blue called Trench Blue with some plate effects. And then you go over it, dry brush it with the colors that you would like.
Nice.
Like red, greens, and blue. So it's like 1 layer, you got your 3 layers, you dry brush, then you go into the specific colors. Now, this sounds like it doesn't make sense when I'm just saying it. But if I showed you, I'd Bob Ross that shit.
No. You need
know.
Bob Ross that shit. Okay, first of all, I want to see like Bob Ross, you in front of your trench costume with the whole Bob Ross setup, like on the easel with the
afro and everything.
Yeah, everything. Just the whole exact. Just switch that out. But then 2, like I get what you're saying. Like what you described was good, right? Like I understand what you're saying for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. It's also awesome that you're using your iguana as like one inspiration, and literally like, hey, you can see how it actually looks on a damn iguana, like a real life animal, right?
Like scales, like full on scales, like because at the end of the day, when you're a creature creator, like a monster maker, I'm pretty much just imitating nature all the time. Like right now, I'm pretty much mixing myself with a full blown vampire bat. How would that look? Well, we know how humans look. Mm-hmm. We know how bad anatomy look. So we got to find a mesh between the two and what would stay, in the mutation, how would these fingers work? Because when you think about bats, they only got one little finger right here because the rest of their fingers are actually spread out to actually have the wings.
Yeah, cool.
So their anatomy is totally different. And then if you compare it to human anatomy, I'm like, okay, so if it did happen to me, how many fingers would I have? So it's just one of those things where you just got to imitate nature, but there's the art in it allows you to play with the imagination and think of things that just might not necessarily be like the first thing you think of.
For sure. And like that's why the Gargoyles would be amazing for you, right? Like obviously they already have pictures of these already, right? There's already cartoons, there's already a Man Bat as well and everything else. But you get to play and you get to adapt them to like actually being inside of them. And that's really fun that you're doing. So are you mostly interested then in I guess like you were saying monster recreations? I know you have the suit of armor behind you. It's kind of monstrous, but it's still kind of armor. So would you say you're mostly a monster crafter, I guess?
I'm leaning more towards monster making.
Okay.
But suit armor and monster.
Sure.
Armor and monsters. I like the big, heavy stuff. I mean, I also like Wonder Woman. I like the small stuff too that you wouldn't expect. Like my Scarecrow is gonna look a little bit different than what you would expect. And Poison Ivy gonna look a little bit different than what you would expect. But then you got somebody like Atrocitus too.
Yeah. I want to see what you do with Poison Ivy. I've seen a ton of Poison Ivies. That's like that's almost up there with Harley Quinn on that. There's a ton of them out there.
But you haven't seen this Poison Ivy.
That's what I'm saying. I'm excited to see your Poison Ivy.
Oh, trust me. This is going to be, you know what? As much as I'm excited about Scarecrow and Atrocitus, the big red lantern, this Poison Ivy is like, now when you say fear, I don't say I fear anything, but there is certain things that kind of like make me stop and think. Sure. Like, wait, could I pull that off? And I know when it's the right character, when it's like, holy shit, how am I gonna do that? When I gotta learn something, like with each one, I'm picking up a new skill.
Yep.
But when I get shaken, like, oh, like, damn, I don't even know how I would do that. That's when I get excited. That's when it's time to start making.
I agree.
Where's the smoke? Where's the smoke? If it's easy,
fun because you're learning the new
exactly
right. And I mean, although it's fun to wear it and it's fun to make it, it's also super fun to learn it. That's a question I got for you. Do you have more fun wearing it or making it?
You know what? Both. I'm gonna say I don't know. It might be 50-50,
All right.
man.
Yeah, you
Because
can
seeing the reaction from people that's when you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I could tell you when we did the shoot for Hellbat and seeing that startled look and all of the cars stopping in the middle of the street, you know, that really freaked people out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite something to be in costume, right? And especially when they can't see your face, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I've been in costumes like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you're sitting there like smiling back at them, right? Or being like, or you're looking at them, looking at you, and in reality, like you're probably into the character too, but like
Oh yeah, I'm in full character.
they're just freaking out, right? And it's I imagine with Hellbat, with this man bat that you're coming out with, I'm going to be one of those people at C2E2 just like freaking out. Like I'll forget it's you too, and I'll just be flipping
Oh,
out.
I'm gonna chase you too. I'm coming after you, especially in that man bat.
What
I'm
you need
coming
to
after
build
you.
is you need to build a giant spider costume and freak out Papa Bear. That's what you need to do because he hates spiders. I don't know if you saw his interview and that sort of thing or heard. Yeah, I- some type of arachna costume. You need to go after him.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
just saying. I mean, you got a lot of stuff down the line, but you know, whenever we get there,
Whenever we get to some actually. Okay.
you only have so many quarters between now and for a while. So yeah, that's the other question. So
Well, we got a lot of coffee.
right? Yeah,
You said what?
you got a lot of
Well, we
plans.
got a lot of coffee.
I'm
What was that question? Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah. So when you're picking the characters, right? It sounds like obviously you plan pretty far out. It sounds like you've gotten, you know, you said you wanted to do Atrocitus. What you mentioned a little bit of this about that you like to see something and be like, hey, how do you do this? What else goes into picking what character you want to do?
The story.
Story, okay.
The story and theme. I want to be able to tell a story with each character because you know, when I really put myself in like Deathstroke, I didn't necessarily have a story for it. I just wanted to do it.
Mhm.
Killmonger, same way. But then once I started to really think about why they were wearing that armor or what led them to be there, the art got better and better and better. And with me, it's all about the story. I want to tell a story. I want to take you on a visual journey of a character and of a place that you've never been before. It's called cosplay, but I ain't playing. I'm an artist. I
Yeah,
love this shit. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So when I think about Atrocitus, you know, he's the Red Lantern, the Red Lantern of Rage. You know, with Man Bat, we're gonna talk about evolution by mutation, Scarecrow, universal fear. What does everybody fear, right? With Poison Ivy, we're gonna talk about seduction and like if somebody like if you did have the power of the green and you used it for bad, how would that look?
Mhm.
But how would that look in a seductive way as well? And then when you're talking about atrocities, you're talking about rage. With everything that we've been through, with everything that these past three characters have been through, and what the Justice League represents, let's throw a little rage in the mix. Because now that we got evolution, we got things evolving around us. The world is changing. You know, we got a vaccine.
Mhm.
You know, Dr. Langstrom was working on the vaccine, ended up turning into a bat. You got Scarecrow, universal fear. What do we all fear? We all have our loved ones. We got things that we, you know, you just talked about Papa Bear fearing spiders,
Mhm.
fear of losing a loved one, fear of not knowing what's going to happen next. But looking at a universal perspective, but what happens when you throw in rage to go along with that? Rage. I think no the past couple years we've been able to experience rage. We just saw an example of it a couple weeks ago in the Capitol building. Rage makes people do things just a little bit different. But if things are changing around you with the mutation, and if you're already scared, rage could pretty much end the world. What's going to happen when you piss those people off? What's going to happen? How could you be manipulated
Yeah.
when you rage? So Atrocitus is going to pretty much be the big bad of this universe, and he's going to be like the second in command to this Doom Squad. I call them the Doom Squad. It's gonna be Man Bat, Poison Ivy, Scarecrow, and Atrocitus, and then we're done with the DC universe. But this Doom Squad is gonna be crazy, and the story, because all of them are part of a big, massive story, and yeah, that's what inspires me. If I don't have a story to tell, then okay.
It sounds like you need to, if you haven't already, get with some actual like comic book artists and writers and make this story happen. Like they could literally draw up some of your costumes, or you could work together with them and have that happen.
It's possible.
Yeah,
it's
I'm just saying, like you're passionate about it, and you can see that you could help write that story, and that's the way these things are created, right? People are just really into it, like you are, and go forward with it, and you see your passion in creating things in different ways. There's a lot of different cosplayers who have branched out, and I'm not saying you should, because I want you to keep cosplaying, right? But I also see you get later after all this, or along the same side, you could write your own comics or do something else like that.
It could be in the book, or it could be on screen.
Or on screen, that too. Yeah. No, that's why we do this stuff, right? Like I love seeing anything like that. Yeah.
I don't know.
That I gotta say, this happens to me a little bit. I'm sure it happens to you some, but when you're watching it on screen, when you're watching like a Hollywood movie or just a movie in general, you have to be looking at all the different effects, right?
Oh yes.
Are there any that like you're just like mind blown by? And I don't like to trash talk, but every once in a while I do see stuff that I'm like, why no, that shouldn't be that way. So
yeah,
you see that happen a decent amount,
and it's more so on the bad side. I don't really trash talk because it's art, it's project, and at the end of the day, people, they gotta do their job.
Also, you don't know their budget. You don't know what their timeline or the budget was on this stuff, especially for movies. A lot of times that shit is fast. People are constantly getting mad because cosplayers did a better job at whatever character. That's true. That's definitely true. But sometimes like you're whipping together something really quick for a movie.
Yeah. Budget, passion. The biggest key right there is passion. These studios don't care at the same level as I did for this Batman suit or Swamp Thing. I grew up with Swamp Thing. That's all I know. I had the whole toy set when I was little. You know what I'm saying? You had the cartoon, you had all that stuff. So the passion is there. But I will say cosplaying has really changed the way I look at movies, especially when it comes to the whole superhero and creature side of things, because I don't like the lack of practical.
Yeah.
The lack of practical, like Jurassic World was good, but CGI Raptors don't do it for me, baby. I gotta have a real thing. Give me somebody in a suit.
Why we all love Baby Yoda so damn much, because he was almost
Baby Yoda,
not actually a puppet, right? They almost made him not, and I mean that would have been a travesty, right? The Mandalorian is a really good example of all those things you were just talking about. Like you watch the making of, they're all very passionate. Most of the people there, I'd say almost all of them, if not all of them, are super passionate about the project. They're going to go the extra mile on that. You can see the practical effects happening the way they've done the studio. If you haven't seen it yet, you should definitely watch it's on Disney Plus as well. It's like the making of.
I saw it.
Okay, yeah. It's fantastic. And it's very good. It speaks to exactly what you were just saying. Like the passion really does come through, and that's part of the reason why it's such a good show.
Yeah, and you could tell. Like what they did for Alien Covenant, that was another one.
Yeah.
Oh no. The protomorph they made, it looked cool, but it's like for some of the scenes I would have liked to see practical. This, I tell you what, this book right here is kind of like a Bible for most of my special effects people.
Winston Effect, yeah.
Yep. It can be done. It can be done. It's just one of those things where budget and CGI has changed it so much, and I'm here to bring it back through cosplay. Practical effects ain't dead. People just scared.
Yeah. Well, and
your hands dirty.
That's something that people for a little while, I feel like, didn't like. It wasn't as popular. right? Like with us, like so people were going, like you were saying, you're going to taking a class or whatever with Stan Winston. Stan Winston's been doing this forever, like since the beginning of like Star Wars, right? There's been people like that doing it, but it's getting more and more popular for people to be able to learn how this practice, how to do puppetry, how to do those type of things, and that matters a lot. And CG, as much as we might have thought the first Incredible Hulk that was CG looked cool, you go back and it doesn't stand the test of time. And I feel like that's one of the things that people are understanding now, right? Because when it first came out, people were like, "Oh my god!" I remember so many like practical effects when at the time, during the time the movie was out, me being like, "Oh man, this looks awesome!" Like mind blowing. And then I'll go back and look at it, 2 years later, even 2 years, 5 years, 10 years later, and it just doesn't stand up when a practical effect in a puppet actually does, right? So Hollywood's learning that too.
Yeah, they're gonna learn it the hard way because people care about this stuff. Yeah. They learned it. They learned it.
Yeah,
and
like
shout
Spawn.
out to Emily and Schmidt. Thank you. You.
Yes.
I appreciate that. That's another Plate Effects person. She sent me that first box set that I won from a contest. Well, it was gifted for a contest from a friend. But that's what started the Plate Effects love. And now, oh yeah, I guess since I'm here, I am officially a part of the Plate Effects community. So I am an ambassador for Plate Effects now.
Tell us. Okay, so there's that. Is there anybody else you want to give shout outs to? Or yeah, that actually gets me to the point of I wanted to mention. Are you in any cosplay groups or any type of other groups that you want to do? I usually do that and I forgot.
Yeah, so I'm cosplay groups is like Facebook and such. Yeah, like Black Cosplay Boosters, Chicago POC. I do a lot. The Replica Forum. I really like that one. There's another one called like Professional Cosplay something. And then the one that I like the most that I first joined was Everything EVA. I've seen some cool stuff in that one. Evil Tez, they got a nice cosplay group and community. Punish Props, they're very good. So I'm in a lot of cosplay groups, but as far as like physical, it's just me lonely in my workshop, just doing stuff. And
you got your wife with you though too, and it's awesome that she supports you and cosplays with you for sure.
Oh yeah, I'm lucky and very fortunate, and that's one thing I'll never forget because I can make all these big cool ass monsters and suits, but if I can't get in it,
yeah, that's nothing. The handlers, man. Everybody loves handlers and other people. Just support people, right? Like like I said before, it takes a team to do so many cool things. So yeah, you gotta shout out to anybody who's supporting it.
I'm very well supported too. And I think it's because of a lot of my friends and family that's very close to me and seeing the changes that it's made to me. Just as a person, I'm a much happier person, and that's the whole therapeutic part of it. And even my therapist was like, "You seem much more content. You seem much more." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm making monsters and shit, man. Like, like I don't have a journal, but I got monsters that tell stories of how I'm feeling and what I'm going through at that time. And like I said, they just journal entries of my life dating all the way back to 2018 through cosplay."
No, that's fantastic. And now we can say that, all you have to do you can either have, a really good support team or make monsters or do both and you're fine. Right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You just need coffee and a plan. I love that quote. I got to go back. I quote you actually on that. I forget exactly what it is now, but that's got
yeah, man. Every one of these I do, I always come up with some quote, and it's just me rambling and talking shit. But I'm like, hey, you know what? That makes sense when you listen back to it. Just coffee and a plan,
For sure. And we got monsters and mind healing.
Monsters and mind healing.
Yeah, I love the fact that cosplay always affects everybody in kind of different ways. Usually, it's a really positive way, and the community itself. All right, like sometimes on here we talk about, either sometimes problems on the community, but really some of the things you like about the community. So can you speak on that? Like, what's
Mhm.
something stands out to you about the cosplay community, good or bad?
You know what? I can't really speak about the bad, and people always ask me about that. And I think it's because of the characters I choose. You never really see who I am. I think the first time people actually realized I was black was this summer. And it was a post that I made with my helmet off, just talking about like some of the racial injustice. This was during like the trench when I was with George
Sure.
Floyd.
Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
to speak about it. I had to talk about it. And I
Absolutely.
think that was one of the first times people actually saw my face, because I'm all about the work. You know, I like to hee hee ha ha. I like to have fun. I like to do all that other stuff, but I like to really focus on what people came for, and that's monsters and big ass armor. So I don't really get the whole racism and cosplay stuff. Like, every once in a while, people say stuff, and it's just like, dude, no, I'm a grown ass man. I don't care about what you're saying. You sitting on your ass typing on the computer. I'm making history. Who's winning, me or you? Shut the fuck up. And then you got people that's like, oh, he made it so big and blah blah blah. Yeah, motherfucker. I did make it big, and I did it on purpose. Everything you see is for a specific intent and has a very detailed story and reason for it. So when it comes to people and the subjective like comments and stuff, I don't care. Because when I clock out after work, the last thing I'm gonna do is try to please another motherfucker.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. And I mean, the
Unless
reason
you're
we
paying for it.
yeah, well, right, and the reason we do this is to have fun for ourselves, and also, you know what? I would venture to say like 99 times out of 100, the people who are giving those like I guess negative comments really haven't ever built anything themselves or aren't
Yeah,
actually like community. A lot of those comments are really just people just like keyboard warrior and being like, yeah, like it's too big or it's where the color's off or something.
yeah.
They aren't
And I'm gonna
actually,
be honest with you.
you know,
I don't even
they're
respond to it.
no, don't just
I
let
don't
it
waste my time.
just let it
It's
sit.
just like it's only we only get so much time in the day.
Mhm.
And juggling all these roles and responsibilities, I'm very tactful with the way I spend my energy. And it's not gonna be for bullshit. Not with the roster I got, with all the work I gotta get done. Oh, it's not gonna be for bullshit.
It's a
Trust
good
me.
way of looking at it. That's a great way of looking at it
But
because
that's life period. That's not cosplay. That's just life
yeah,
period.
yeah, that is life theory. That's I mean, doesn't matter what you're doing, you need to be not worrying about bullshit because that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and
Somebody
comments,
doing
yeah,
something, cool. Please share it and say that it's bullshit, because I know other people are gonna love it, and
yeah.
that's better publicity for me. So
So some of
I don't
my
even, I
most
don't even talk to people.
most viewed things were things that were like people were arguing over something in the picture, right? It was always something that like the things that like just blew up. It was always something that like that character doesn't use that weapon in that one game, and people were like, yeah, she does, and this one thing, and yes, he does, and like people were just yeah, they're all they're doing is just feeding to the interactions with you with whatever that picture is.
Like,
So it's
yes, keep going, keep
oh
going.
yeah, 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 that's fine.
And another thing is I do a lot, as you can see from like some of the works. I do a lot of mashups where I take like the best of each iteration of a character and make something new. Because I like to make things in my own. Like the Hellbat, it was based off the McFarlane figure, but I also put a little bit of video game in there, a lot of comic book, and I just made it on my own. And I like to make my own designs just do something different. Like I respect and I like one-on-ones, but I think that the story that I want to tell, I can't tell it through somebody else's lens. Can't tell it through somebody else's design. Got to get your hands dirty. Got to learn how to sketch. You got to get those colors right. Figure out the patinas you want. Figure out the materials you want. So a lot of that, and then if you look at the Wonder Woman, you'll see where I blended like three of the specific iterations of Wonder Woman to make a new Wonder Woman, which is just called the Amazon. Something totally new, because I think while I love the comic book or I love the movie designs, I want to respect those artists and let them be. We've seen that before. What's something new you could bring to the table, Tris?
Yeah, I mean and you get to show us your perspective and your art and everything else. And it's fine to do it one to one. It's fine to do it on your own. Either way is fine. And I prefer to do things with a little bit of twist on it.
Yeah.
Depends on what it is, right? And half the time, like people can't tell, right? Like I'll tell you right now, I haven't looked at enough figures of that armor behind you to know that that doesn't look exactly one to one, right? It just and in reality, it just looks cool as shit, right? It looks awesome. Like
And that's what matters the most.
I'm just like, wow, what is that? That looks amazing. Like, what's that from? And you turn around and you have the Batman symbol. I'm like, it must be some type of Batman thing, and that's cool. But in reality, what's really catching everybody is that just that it looks really awesome. And then the best thing about it is when you know the character after that, and you can bond with them afterward and tell your story and do all that. So, yeah, man, that is it's been a pleasure to talk to you. But we are actually about like an hour and 41 minutes in.
Damn.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So I gotta say, this was fun. This was super fun. I want to have you back.
Fun, man.
I definitely need to have you. I'm hoping to get more like, I don't know, some other type of thing like this, not just one-on-one interviews. I love these, but the fact is I can only get one person on at a time or two people max. And even when it's two people, it's a little bit back and forth. So when I figure out more or less what else I want to do, I'll be reaching out to you about that too. But I maybe have you back on the show as well. Can't wait to see you. I don't want to before we end. Definitely let us all know again where we can find you, like online. Like, just take us through that again.
Yeah, so you can find me as TrisRex Cosplay on Facebook. Instagram is just TrisRex Cosplay on YouTube. Starting to get some stuff there. As long as you type in TrisRex, you could just find me pretty much anywhere. And holla at me if you got questions. Shoot over a question. Shoot me a DM. I'm not shy. I will talk to you. Let's talk about making some cool stuff. Always be making. Remember, you got coffee in the plan. You can do anything. I'm proof.
That's it. I'm going to cut it there. When we edit this, I hope we there because we need that. But yeah, as always, I am James Wulfgar. Thank you so much for coming in and spending this hour and 45 minutes that seemed like it was about 5 minutes because it was so much fun to talk to. Thanks, guys, for coming by. And again, I'll see you next time. I think 2 weeks from now, we're talking to Sam Booker. And
my boy.
It's going to be awesome. I'm excited about that. And we got some other really good people coming down the pipe. But with that, I'll see you later.
Peace.